Hi, can you hear me? Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you. I know it's a busy time for folks, but thank you for joining. I appreciate it. Hi, everybody. Thank you for letting me know you can hear me. Hi. So I'm using the field hat to send everybody lights. We need to put some light here. Thank you for joining. Waiting for Thank you, sis Lady Meg. It's been a while. Thank you for letting me know you can hear me. Yes, waiting for waiting for our speaker to join the conversation. How is everybody doing today? I believe you're fine. Good evening. Waiting for the speaker to join. Hi, Dorothy Ochigbo. Good evening, Mobola. Thank you. I see you all. Thank you for joining today. Good evening, Christiana. I see you. My people. Yes, I noticed you've been away. I see all your beautiful pictures, Lady Meg. I guess you're spreading the light in the abroad. I see you, Dotsu. That's my Dotun Papa's, my brother from way back. You all should follow him. He has really beautiful skits. I watch his skits when I'm bored. Yes, Dotsu. When I want to laugh. That's a mega OG. OG from Agowoye. Hi, Oyinkan. Yes, Oyinkan is here with us. Oyinkan. Hi, Kola. Look at all these my OGs, man. All my brothers are here today. That's how we roll. Supporting ourselves anywhere. Okay. Oyinkan, please request to join. Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you. I see you, Doris. I see you, Bumi. Thank you. Waiting for Oyinkan to join us. I have sent her an invite. I do not take your participation for granted. Thank you so very much. I appreciate your support. I know it's traffic time. In some part of the world, people are working, taking a break from work. to, join us today. And I want to appreciate everybody. Thank you so much. We're waiting for our speaker to join. Okay. Oyin, I have invited you. Thank you, Sokwe. Oh, Emotions is unable to join. Why? Oh, God. Sorry, guys. Oyinka, I just invited you again. Please let me know. Yes, I think we have you now. Oyinka.
Yeah, I can see you, but I'm not sure you can see me.
No, I can't. I'm just seeing. I am seeing.
Blank.
It's blank. Yes.
Okay.
Maybe you need to sort of like adjust your.
My
Um.
stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me do that. Yeah.
Just adjust your stuff.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining. I appreciate you all. Thank you. I need to invite our speaker again. She's having some problems joining. Oyin, I have invited you again to join the conversation. I see you all. Thank you for your beautiful energy today. Thank you for joining. For those who joined from Twitter and want to win the free data, you need to, stay to the end of the conversation. And of course, screenshot your name to let us know that you participated. You get so we make it free and fair. Make it free and fair. We are waiting for Oyin to join. I am going to invite her. I'm so sorry, but I hope everybody is fine. Can I get like a show of emoji? With your favorite emoji. Let me know you're fine today. Apples, Marvel, yes. Okay. Uthman, I cannot accept your request to join at this time. We would give that opportunity at the end of the session, waiting for our speaker to be able to connect. I think she has some challenges with her network. Here. Okay. Oyin, I have invited you again. I am so sorry, everybody. She's just having, you know how technology is now. Hi, Oyin.
Yes, I'm here. So see what I have to do to show
Okay,
my.
I think you're just, yes, now you're here. Look at that. This technology wants
Okay,
to
that's it.
pour sand in this session that we've been planning. Nonsense and technology.
In fact, I must say something to you that you're so powerful. You know, it was after we booked the schedule that I remembered that today is my uncle's 10th anniversary. He passed at Dana crash,
Oh my God.
my
Oh my
mother's
God.
brother. So I
Oh
was
my
like,
God.
how did I forget that we were supposed to have a family meeting and all of
Oh,
that? And I'm like, there's absolutely no way I can go back to Esther to say anything. So I had to plead with them that so it's a Zoom, it's a virtual meeting. So I had to say, I made a mistake. I'm going to be an hour late. Forgive my soul.
oh.
Yeah. I was like,
There you
there's no
go.
way
Family, we
that
are begging
Esther and I
you.
had back and finally settled. How will I go back? I was like, oh,
After we have the soccer.
I'm telling you. And I didn't put it in my itinerary because it's family. Usually it's business you put
Yeah.
there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I didn't put it there. So it didn't. So it was when I just saw the Zoom link June 3rd. I was like, yay. But I was like, oh, please, you people, you will see me 1 hour late. Just forgive my trespasses.
I beg
we
go. Me
all
na no
sin.
vex. So me
We
na
all
no vex.
sin.
She's
You're
may
looking
so welcome.
pretty. What
Thank
have you
you.
been
You
up to?
too, my dear. to life. Drinking peace of mind water. Minding my
Yeah,
business chronically.
I'm telling you.
As in a chronic
I
way.
am telling you.
You guys, sorry, me and this woman, we go way back.
I'm telling you.
There are friends that when you connect, you guys just connect. But we understand you are here for us, for business, eh?
I'm telling you.
So no vex, but you got to make it
The
interactive so you
world
don't
has
think,
nothing on Esther. See how Esther is shining. You will not even know she survived the pandemic. Like
hey,
a whole
my dear,
pandemic.
as in, what can we do? Eh? We cannot let pandemic make us look like this thing
At
now.
home. We
You
got
see
it covered.
this your go. Yeah, I go like am for yellow. I beg you. Anyway, let's get to it.
Windy hood.
Guys,
So we're gonna hook up.
yes. Guys, thank you so much for joining today. If you don't know Oyinkansola, Oyinkan is very powerful. She threw that, don't mind that. She's powerful, oh, this woman. Emotions
Esther is
doctor.
part of my power. I'm going to talk about her. Don't worry. She's part of my power. That's why when she calls me once, I show up twice.
You see, this woman. Yeah, now when we start our G, so don't let us do it today. We can gist
I'm
for 4
telling
hours.
you, it
We,
takes
we just
hours.
we just go on, and we just yeah. So if you don't know Oyinkan is someone just called you pastor. You see, your people don't come here. You know?
Yeah. They always ensure that they bring my past to my
Yeah,
present.
so they should. They need to remind people that you you only practice leadership beyond the pulpit.
Oh, yeah.
The anointing is still there, and we want to acknowledge the
Honestly,
anointing.
the
You
anointing is
know.
who we are.
Exactly. So thank you so much for joining today. And may your uncle so rest. I didn't even know about the Nana class I used to do. Can you imagine? See me, I don't
Yeah.
even know. Even
I'm
Nigeria,
telling you.
I don't know even celebrating the thing safe. There is no
It's
ceremony or anything for anyway.
Yeah. The irony of it, actually made a post before I joined. The irony of it is that I
Mm-hmm,
know two people who
mm-hmm,
survived the crash,
mm-hmm.
meaning they missed the flight.
Oh, okay. Oh,
They got
wow.
to the airport, they were about to board, and then they said that they had boarded, they weren't going to allow them in. So on their post today, the title of their post is Messi said no.
Whoa.
And I said to myself, so people who died is Messi said yes. It's funny how life can give you sadness and joy at the same
I
time.
know.
While
We
they are
just have to learn
rejoicing,
how
some
to
people are mourning.
that thin line between people who survive accident and you get what I'm saying, and even traumatic
Yeah.
experiences and others saying I give God the glory when people are mourning. We just
Yeah.
have to blank our ears because people would always
Uh,
celebrate.
oh, yes. I had to write it that people have a right to rejoice while you have a right to mourn.
Absolutely.
And both can coexist without anybody
Exactly.
feeling bad.
I mean,
And
at the end of
God
the
is just a
day,
master planner.
exactly. We thank God for the people that survived, and
Oh,
then
yes.
God will keep making them escape
And the people who
safety.
relocated.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining. Sorry, me and Oye, we can go on and on. You see, that's the beauty of sisterhood. It's not about the
Yeah.
people you talk to every day. It is not. It is
Mm.
about the energy, you feel with
Mm.
people. It's about, what everybody's bringing to the table. And as you can see, we're just going on. We even forgot this is a show. So my apologies. And, I hope you understand. But let me just give you a brief info about Oyinkan. Oyinkan is popularly referred to as Emotions Doctor. She's the founder of Emotion City Africa, a leading emotional intelligence center. She's productivity enhancement. Now, wow, this is your profile. I got to read them
It's
again.
for children.
She's the
Let's just spare them. They can
productivity.
Google my existence. Let's go right in.
Yeah, I will, but let me just read small. Let them know. She's a psychologist by training as well. In fact, if people should go and read the rest on Google. Let's just
I'm
get into
telling
this
you.
session. By the way, I have my tissue here because this is an emotional session. So
I do too. I
in
do
case,
just,
in case tears start dropping,
yeah, we feel our feelings here.
exactly. All right.
Mm.
So let me just get right to it, guys. The topic for today is quite emotional. I want to implore anyone who has
Mm.
triggers. Please, I'd appreciate if you maybe just, put it in check or keep your mind open. This is
Mm.
not a session to bring up old wounds. This is a session
Mm.
to heal. We want to identify the wounds that some of us actually lock up and act like we are whole when we're actually broken. So, emotions doctor, what is behind the brand? Tell me, what is, behind the emotions doctor? What made you think about that name?
Okay, so I remember when I was 19. I wrote my first book when I was 17. It was published afterwards by my mom as my birthday gift. And then when I was 19, I met the brand called Bimbo Dukoya. She was a pastor. And I met her at a studio. I think it was in between MB and NTA. I had written my book about to go on air, with Fumi Yonda and Livia Jonoma. Livy passed in the Dana crash, and Pastor Bimbo was stepping out, I was stepping in. There was no social media at that time. So she was very intrigued and impressed that a young chap had written a book. I was a teenager. So she looked at me and said, "Oh, you are the next guest." I said, "Yes." And she was like, "Oh, I like you." And I smiled. I know the next thing she said was she was going to give me her number because she was interested in mentoring me. It was the first time I was hearing the word mentor. So I said to her, I said, "Why do you want to mentor me?" And everybody around her, their eyes popped open. They knew her. So it's like an Elon Musk saying that he wants to mentor you and they're asking why. So they were in shock, like, you should be jumping at this. But I just had this childlikeness, and when I got back home, I told my mom. My mom has always been a fan of hers. So my mom was very excited and said, "Oh, okay, let's give her a call, book an appointment," which we did. And, that was my journey with Bimbo Dukai. And the journey was very sweet and surreal. She was a model and she exhibited who I wanted to be. I saw peace, I saw joy. Now I saw those flavors in my house, but not at the quantity that I desired. So my parents had their issues, they were divorced. And there are some ingredients and what would you call it? Some ingredients and takeaway packages that come with divorces. It's like souvenirs. Yeah, there are souvenirs for children that parents may not know about. So my parents had their issues, but we children were also beneficiaries of the issues because even though I had a father, I wasn't fathered. And my father didn't father me based on wickedness. No. We're going to get there. So Pastor Bimbo showed me what I wanted to be. And after a while of working with her, I became a pastor in their church, Fountain of Life Church. So that's why some people call me a pastor, and my journey started like that. And I was so obsessed and consumed with the passion to help people move from unhappiness to happiness. I love happy people. I love giving people energy. An average friend of mine will tell you that Oyinkan is serious, cannot also be a nuisance. I can be extremely playful and extremely serious. I just like giving people joy, no matter where you are, no matter how you feel, if I can support you in one way or the other. But the challenge was the only tool I had at that time was the Bible. So I felt I was going to cut off some set of people who didn't believe in the Bible. So I said, there must be something else apart from spirituality. So it's not that spirituality is not enough, but you must have something called cultural intelligence, the capacity to speak a language somebody understands. So I started looking for other things and then I stumbled upon science. But my first degree was international relations. Some people will call it diplomatic studies and all that. Yes. And as I stumbled upon science, I started seeing data on adverse childhood experiences, those things. And I said to myself, this is what I want to be. But of course, I was still in school. I was a pastor. People were looking up to me and stuff. So I finished all of that. When I was done, I then got into my field, which is my dream field of psychology. And then I started at different levels of coaching therapy. And I also have a knack for giving people names. So an average friend of mine, I've given all of them nicknames. All. In fact, if you're not careful, I can change it monthly. That's how anointed I am with name giving. And then I had a very subtle desire. My father was a doctor, a vet doctor. So I liked doctors. Doctors always looked to me like intelligent people. So when I got into emotions and I decided to settle with emotions, the only name I could resonate with was emotions doctor. you know, and then I had to build a persona and a life around that. So that's how I arrived at it. So, in fact, before I left Nigeria, in my car, I had a stethoscope. That's how passionate I was about doctors, a red stethoscope. I have friends, like a quarter or one third of my friends are medical doctors, from Aproko to other people. In fact, I go to look for them new. Like I find them on social media, I send them a DM. I want us to be friends.
That's
You know, I
powerful.
take them out. You know, I take them for lunch or dinner, and then we check out values, have conversations. So I love doctors and I have them as friends. So it was very easy for me to get into that space. And of course, my PhD journey, all of those things. In fact, I got an honorary doctorate about 2 weeks ago. I'll share that with you. I
Wow.
haven't announced it. It's the first time I'm gisting about it.
Oh, that's good. Popping up all the certificates all over the world. No, you're not leaving any stone unturned. Leave small for us.
I must represent you, Esther. You helped me succeed, so I must make you proud.
That's what sisterhood is all about. We're here for each
Yeah,
other.
I'll tell you.
All right. So thank you for sharing that beautiful story. And I think the part about your dad, he really caught
Mm,
my attention. The way you said,
mm,
I was not fathered,
mm,
not heard it that way before.
mm,
And that's something that, we need to bring to the front burner. People need
mhm,
to use that endearment, like I was not fathered, I was not mothered.
mm,
No, I didn't have a
mm,
family. So thank you for that. Now, how does childhood trauma impact a person?
mm.
Yeah.
Excellent. So I would keep sharing my story and stuff. So my father passed on last year, November
Mhm,
24th.
mhm,
Now, it was the first time I was experiencing two flavors of grief.
mm,
I didn't know that that existed until I got in.
mm,
So my father had stroke when he was 34. When he was 34, I am the last of four children.
mm,
So that probably means between myself and our firstborn, there is
mm,
8 years. Yeah. So that means they were married for 8 years, something like that before. Yeah. So my father had stroke at 34,
mhm,
four children. So imagine
mhm,
a 34-year-old man down with stroke.
mhm,
My father died at 72.
mm,
You know, so he was paralyzed
mm,
for more than half of his years. So by the time I was born some months after he had stroke. So I never saw him whole.
mm,
In fact, the first time I saw my father's pictures whole was during the burial, where they were sending me pictures to send to my graphic designer. I remember that I was on flight to the US, you know, and before we took off was when they sent in the pictures, but the pictures hadn't landed before I left. But
mm,
of course, in the flight, you then have access, Wi-Fi, whatever, and then they landed. You know,
mm.
and I remember telling my friend Shubomi that I sent the pictures to her and I started crying. I said, this is the first time that I'm seeing my father whole, like standing, you know, and all of that. And what his death showed me was that I was experiencing a physical manifestation of an emotional pain. So, what that means is that because my father had stroke, he didn't have all the tools he needed to father. So, I wasn't fathered. So, but the painful part is that even though I wasn't fathered,
Mhm,
society expected me to see him as a father figure.
mhm.
You know how society expects you to call somebody who didn't mother you a mom? You know that detachment
Yeah.
that, yeah. So I couldn't relate. My siblings could relate because they knew him.
Mm,
I could not relate. So, and at every point in time, I always felt I was lying, you know, and because of the sickness and stuff, he also had his own personal weaknesses. So now with my professional tools, I can see that when he had stroke, one of the ways he coped was through anger. You know, when you are angry with life, like
mhm,
that life came to cripple you.
mm,
with that anger, he exhibited all of those things. But I never understood. I was just always wondering why there was always drama. But fundamentally, he was a good person. So now I can see that all of those things were happening because of, when he was very successful. So my father's classmates, I know some of them, like they are board chairmen, all of those people, like I know them by name. I'm just not mentioning them now. I know them, and they used to say to me that my father was their role model. And they also told me that I looked like him. But, I never saw it because he wasn't whole. Do you understand? So I couldn't see what they were saying. So when I finally saw my father's pictures, I could put a head to it that, oh, any wonder, oh, I see this and that. So I was already mourning and experiencing an emotional loss of having a physical father, but not an emotional father.
Physical father, not an emotional father.
Finally, my loss was now concrete when the physical father departed. So I already had some level of loss, which was an emotional loss. But the emotional loss was being covered. When you have like a silhouette with presence.
Yes.
Then finally, you experience exposure. So emotional and physical now joined. And while all of this pain was going on, remember that you still have to be a responsible child. That's the most painful part.
Yes.
And then for some of us who have home training, thankfully, my mother and every other person God sent towards me, my siblings, everybody else, extended family, he was also a good person. For example, my father taught me how to read. My father was a reader. So the fact that he was paralyzed, he was always reading. So he stirred up hunger and desire in me. So he wasn't a terrible person. He was a good person. If not for my dad, I would not be an Efiko. That I owe to him. But while all of that was going on, dealing with emotions, this and that, you still had to be responsible. And then now try and imagine the financial side of taking care of someone for 39 years. Someone you didn't have a relationship with, but somehow you are responsible for. The layers are pretty high. And nobody else can understand because even when you try to explain, they come up with, but you're a pastor. You're a psychologist. You can handle it. For people like us, people see us as wood, like trees. And, even when the world is scattering, people expect that they are still entitled to your compassion, empathy, love. They don't see you as human beings. You are an object.
Yeah. Sadly.
So my own life was very interesting because I wasn't just a therapist, I was a pastor. So people didn't see me as a human being. They saw that there was no way with all my tools that I couldn't deal with it. So I had to sit myself down. In fact, I had to first of all move from a place of hatred because I knew that there was a time when, even though I loved my father, I didn't send him. There are two different things. You can love people normally, but don't send them. Oh, wrong. That's the fashion. Igbo, you can interpret it. You don't send. Yeah. I didn't send him. It was a place of detachment. But I was still sending money as a child alongside my siblings. Do you understand? And then I had to move from that detachment and painful place to a place where I had to settle it in my head that there's absolutely nothing I can do about it, and there's a reason why. So to be honest, my entire life story has contributed to who I am today. If not for my journey, I would not be the emotions doctor. So adverse childhood experiences show up, and your parents parented you with the tools available to them. If they knew better, they would have done better. Their deficiency was based on the tools available to them. It's a painful place. You have no power over trauma, but you have power over healing.
Powerful. Powerful.
Trauma is not in your hand, but healing is not in your hand. Healing is in your hand. That's the problem. Trauma is beyond you. Healing is your responsibility. And we all experience flavors of trauma. I dare say there's no child who didn't experience some level of chip and brokenness into adulthood. Because you were parented by an imperfect person. What they did is called a heart transplant. What is in them is what they gave you. So whatever they gave you is full of applications that work and applications that have viruses. So as you are walking now, you are a mobile virus. Some are working in your life, some are not. And what we're supposed to do in adulthood is to now format. Even your applications, you update them. We couldn't have been using Nokia 3310 to have this conversation.
Absolutely.
Nokia 3310, where does it belong now? In the museum. 20 years ago, it was very useful. With Nokia 3310 at that point, you have made it in life. It was like Benz 190, Benz 200. If you drive Benz 200 now, they will just use you for selfie. They will use you for selfie. If breeze blows too much and you're on Third Mainland Bridge, power can change hand.
Yes, so power can change hand. Facts.
Good. But 20 years ago, Benz 190 was a testimony. 20 years after, Benz 190, if you are not careful, can be a disgrace. If you are not careful, depending on the angle you are looking at it from. So the question, therefore, is what thinking and thought pattern did you have 20 years ago that should not survive till today? If you have changed your phone, you have changed your clothes. Esther, you couldn't have been wearing your 20-year-old outfit.
No.
See how you are looking fresh, fresher than the last time I saw you. You have even chopped up. When people say you will spread to the right and left, you are fulfilling the vision. See your cheek like dollars.
Hallelujah, somebody.
I'm telling you. So 20 years ago, that phone, that laptop, that outfit, that shoe, I'm sure you have updated and upgraded them. But ironically, people hardly update their emotional account. They update mental. You will see them career-wise. Career, do certification, do clinical. No matter where you go on the ladder, career-wise, career development, you will take yourself with you. That personal development, you will take it with you. You will take it with you. There was an ex-president in a country both of us know that it was lack of personal development that removed him. Anytime he talks like this, he scatters the word. He sucks on it permanently. When he tweets like this, the world is on fire.
It's on fire.
They had to remove him everywhere. What does he lack? Mental audit, mental edit. The capacity to know that what is here, you have to sift it. You can't eat raw salt. When you think about something, it's not everything that is here that you bring out. But for him, there was no decorum, nothing. But career-wise, he was a president. Personal-wise, he was a child trapped in an adult body. When we discovered. So let me give you a practical example. Why did he lose second term? Very simple. Whatever was happening, whether they rigged it, they don't rig it, I have no idea. But when he lost, he threw tantrums like a child. Somebody lost to him, and that's how he became president. A woman lost to him. She didn't throw tantrum. She attended every event that brought him in, inauguration, everything. A 70-whatever-year-old man, an adult who should be spending his money and living on a private island. started throwing tantrums. The country almost burnt
Because of
because
him.
a man who did not forget anything in the house, he didn't mind to destroy. As at last week, he was still suing. Let me give you another practical example. I remember when this gentleman slapped another person on stage. We all know the person, and people went after him and said, oh, he slapped. I then looked for his book. His book is his first name. I then looked for his book. Yeah. I looked for his book because the moment I saw it, I knew. Because when an adult is malfunctioning, first of all, trace it to childhood. People in my field know. Trace it to childhood. It's like when you are purging. When you are purging, you should trace it to what you have eaten. So when an adult is malfunctioning, do you understand? Emotional purge, there's something in him. Trace it to childhood. So I then got his book. And the first line in the first chapter of his book was, I always thought I was a coward. At age 9, my father beat my mom and I couldn't do anything about it. I actually ran away. Now look at that scenario. My father beat my mom. I could not stand up for my mother. Somebody was now insulting his wife in adulthood. He now stood up. When he was standing up to go and slap, he wasn't that guy, Chris, he was going to slap. He was slapping his father on behalf of his mother. That picture you saw he's not a fighter, you will know, because after that he started crying when he won. How can you slap 2 minutes after you are in tears? You will see that there's a misalignment between childhood and adulthood. He is an adult, but he still has childhood pain that he needs to deal with. And some of us are like that. Sometimes you just shout and snap.
For no reason.
And you know that shouting and that snapping, sometimes we beat our children. It's not the children we are beating, it's really our spouse.
Yes.
Our spouse has taught us so much, we can't beat the person. Sometimes it's your boss you are beating. You get home, your boss offended you. One child now mistakenly poured water from slap to ifonu to abara, or gaelo. No, it's your boss you are beating. And all of us have it. We have the souvenir, emotional souvenir. So that is why Esther has called a family meeting for us all.
So table it. Nobody is perfect, man.
Esther is doing that's why she has called family meeting. All of us. Because we need this healing. If not, you will manifest at a level where you will be exposed.
Yeah.
The higher you go, you need more healing. There are some things that must not be caught with you. Do you understand?
Yes.
As I am like this, there are some things I must not do. Social media will not forgive me.
Absolutely.
So I tread softly online. When I see that people are doing emotional touch, I'm like, no, blogs, we carry it. Leading psychologists.
You'll be quoted for life. Screenshot menstruals. I want to be screenshot to share 1 minute, not to share. What to be? They will keep it. 10 years, don't you got the phone?
Especially Twitter, those Twitter children.
They are here, my people. Please, they are here.
I know them. Twitter children.
They are here. Thank you so much for sharing that. So, how can parents, avoid, childhood trauma? Like you said, we can't be there for our children all their lives, but how can we make sure that they don't have a traumatized childhood?
Excellent. One of the ways will be that we must encourage our children to practice what I call independent thinking. And I'll give you an example. My mother used to share one story anytime she wants to yab me. Every family has one story they will keep for you. Like anytime you want to do something like this, they will just throw the story inside. So my mother used to share with my friends anytime she sees them that Oyinka has always been very expressive and outspoken. She said that at age 9, some visitors came to her house, her friends, two of them. And of course, she wasn't at home. So they now said I should tell her that they came around, but there was no one at home. So I now say, how will you say that there was no one at home? I am at home. So that's how both of them were now looking at themselves. How will you say you didn't meet anybody at home? That I'm at home now.
Abi, you don't see me.
So the lady now said, that's according to my mother. The lady now said that they are sorry. Bottom line, they sat down at home till my mother came. They didn't go. So my mother was now asking them, when did you get it? He said, it's been a while. He said, what were you doing? He said, talking to your child. I said, talking to my child. I said, yes. They now narrated the story. She did not let us go. Where I said, why would you say that there's nobody at home? Am I not a human being? So I have always been independent in my thinking, meaning I always saw things otherwise, even though culture was always trying to box me. So culture was always saying to me, oh, you're very opinionated, you have this, you have that. For me, I saw it as insecurity. That why do you have a problem with me thinking differently from you? And it doesn't mean you are wrong. Do you understand?
Yes.
People, for example, who are rejoicing today that they escaped Dana crash have a right to rejoice. I can't say they should not rejoice. And we have a right to mourn, and two people can coexist without anybody feeling somehow. So the first thing is that parents must know that independent thinking does not mean I'm challenging you. It just means that you are different and I'm different, and we don't have to think alike. Because when everybody starts to think alike, there's a tendency that some people have outsourced their brain. Because if we were supposed to think alike, Esther, all of us would have been born on the same day, through the same parents, through everything.
Yes.
The difference is because we were created by a genius. So independent thinking is good. The ability for children to question. I'll give another example. I have a 10-year-old nephew that I call my son. So there was one day in the US, I was looking for the remote control. Me, I don't even watch TV. I don't even know what was pushing me that day. So I now said, Chris, I can't find the remote. Is it with you? He said, no. So I now said, are you sure? That was the only statement I said, the boy would have beaten me up. I said, are you sure? He just looked at me. He said, do you mean I'm lying? You know, are you sure in Nigeria is not an insult? And so I carried my Nigerian mind to the US to go and ask an American, are you sure? The boy said, do you mean I'm lying? I said, no, that's not what I meant. So I just wanted to, no. He said, no. Auntie, you asked me the first time if I was with the remote control. I said, no. And then you had to say that, am I sure? That means you think that I'm lying. So I said, I'm sorry. Before I leave you, I'm sorry, Sasim. Go, you know, I'm only by this. As if that wasn't enough. When his parents came, he reported me. I had to keep saying that, I am sorry now. But you will see that the thing pained him. And I had to delete, are you sure, from my vocabulary. If I wasn't a wise adult, Marty Dasirov, I'd have said, no, that's not what I mean. And then you don't talk to elders like that. That's ego. Because in the first place, I was wrong. I'll give another example, still with Chris. He brought his homework home, and then I wanted to help him with the homework. So I've been helping him peacefully, but you know, village people will show up to attempt to disgrace you. So I've been helping him peacefully. So there were now some questions that looked hard. I was not staring at the question. You know, at the back of my mind, I'm like, I'm an adult now. How will someone like me not know question to what a 9-year-old is doing? So I was staring at one particular question. I'd read it in my mind twice. I now did a mistake. I now read the question out again. As I read the question out again, I just saw that he covered his book. I didn't understand on time. I just saw that the book in front of him that both of us were using peacefully, he covered it. And I said, Chris, what's going on? He said, oh, that I should not worry, that it seems I don't know the answer. And I started laughing. I said, how did you arrive at that? He said, you've been staring at the question repeatedly, and then you had to read it out again. You know, like,
oh, yeah,
hey, no. So I now said, no, I understand. I said, I shouldn't worry. He went to keep his book. He ran with his homework. Shouldn't worry. So something in me now wanted to turn it into African parenting. I felt that's rough. But come on, bring it back here. You know, I wanted to change it so that I will preserve my dignity. You know, you can't be calling yourself doctor. You don't know a 9-year-old question. Do you understand? Something was telling me that on behalf of your lineage, you are gone. Redeem your image with anger. But another thing was telling me that when you humble yourself, oh, more question here. You don't know the answer. Leave it. So we turned it to a joke, and then the thing left. When his parents came now, the brother who always give them gist now told his parents that he has not done his homework because he asked him. They now say, well, he said, auntie does not know the answer.
Oh my God.
And then his parents were now saying that auntie is the most intelligent in our house. If she doesn't know the answer, then all of us are in trouble. So they now asked him that, how did he arrive at me not knowing the answer? He now told them. But what had happened that I didn't know was that my mother had paid them a visit earlier, months before I got there. And then my mother helped him to do the assignment. And he did not pass very well. He passed though, but not very well. So apparently he has been suspecting us in our house that we don't know book. Mowe. You know, me, I didn't know that part. So when I now started reading in and out, he saw my mother. Because apparently that's what my mother did. You know me, I didn't know. That's how he rescued his assignment.
From you.
Because he used to come first in class. But when my mother did that thing for him, he got about 60-something% and he's used to 90-something. So when I acted in that line that he has seen before, I think he just said affliction must not rise the second time. You know, but it was his parents who told me. So me, I now had to call my mom that, mommy, you have scattered and destroyed our name. Because at this point, you know, in fact, I had to help him do one assignment and he passed very well. That's how I redeemed myself. If not, but why did I say that? When he was challenging me, I could have said he was a rude child. I could have said a lot of things. I could have beaten him up. You know, American children, Esther, you know, so there's a way they act. And when I say American, he's Nigerian, no, he just came here, you understand? There's a way they act, more than the accent. You understand? You won't hear half of what they are saying. You know, so you just say, no, don't worry about it. No. You know, at the back of my mind, I'm like, I should just turn his ear. You know how they will turn your ear, you have a headache. I had different suggestions, but I just felt, no, you can't punish him for being right. Because you don't know the answer. So, of course, we didn't answer that question, we answered others. Now, how do we intentionally raise children? By ensuring that we don't cripple their heart of curiosity and replace it with fear. Let me give you a final example, still with Chris. During COVID, I was talking to him one day and he said to me that God does not exist. So I said, what made you say that? He said, people are dying. Where is God? Why would you say these are his children? And people are dying, accidents, people are shooting, blah, blah, blah. He came up with those things. I didn't say anything. Honestly, I didn't know the answer. So because I didn't know the answer, I now told him that the next day, me and him, we will do a debate. His own debate will be that God does not exist. My debate will be that God exists. I now came on Instagram to put it there that children of God, I'm about to disgrace your God because they say God does not exist and they have given me a lot of reasons why it doesn't exist. Me, I don't even know the answer. Wait, I have told Holy Spirit, in 24 hours, my nephew will be an unbeliever. And it will not be because of me. It will be because I don't have the answer. Don't disgrace yourself in case you think that because I'm a pastor, I will come and use jazz and juju for the boy. I said, no, Give me what you will understand. And you know, children, they are the one who will remind you of the meeting, especially when you are said there's a reward. 1 hour to the meeting time, say, Auntie, our debate starts in an hour. I already saw him because I said that we are going to dress corporately. My son and nephew went to wear jeans and shirts with bow tie. I said, Lord Jesus, you know. He was reminding me because he must collect his award. So when the judgment day came, I said he should start first. Because of course I didn't know the answer. So as he was talking, I was speaking thoughts in my heart. I said, Holy Spirit, this boy's conviction is about to increase or reduce. And I must not have a hand in his conviction because they have he came up with several reasons. So when he finished, and I said, I'm so proud of you, excellent. Here are the reasons why I think God exists. So he said, God works with science, and everything that you create must die, including non-living things. So I give examples of shirts, of all the things he doesn't use again. Technically, they are dead. His bicycle, his old phone, his old laptop. So I said, you don't even need God for things to die. When you leave a meal for 2 days, it will spoil. It has nothing to do with God. So I removed the God perspective and focused on science. That whatever exists must perish. The only way you won't perish is not to exist. So when I was, the only thing he said, that makes sense. That makes sense. I like that. That makes sense. And that was the end. Because I didn't have one scripture to quote. Because those children, you might have gone and cram something now. And I just went to an unfamiliar territory. He doesn't know science like me.
Yep.
I just told myself that, come, before I disgrace everything spiritual in my life, let me go. Because there's no point saying, when you look at the ocean and the sea, you will know that you are talking to a 9-year-old. And not a 40-something. That's a 9-year-old who wants to hear what he can understand. But when I was older, when I was younger, if I had said God does not exist, they will almost beat you up. The reason for that anger is because they didn't have tools and wisdom to explain the existence of God. Amanda Sirofni. In the African culture, for example, we don't know how to have conversations without turning into arguments and insults. Check social media. People are dragging people just because they don't think alike. So when we are raising children, whether our own or the ones we are even, taking care of, custodians or whatever, we must first of all leave the fact that the children have a right to question things. I'll give you a final example. There was one day in church, I asked a question. I said, why you people say that we should not question God? If we don't question God, who should I question? And all of them kept quiet. I said, then why are you saying I should not question God? Is it that God has a problem with me challenging him? Challenging him is not that I'm disrespectful. It's the fact that I'm having a conversation with my father and daughter. God challenges me now. This is my guy. This is my man. This is my sugar daddy. And I'm saying, come, my friend was ill. I prayed and the person died. And in the same breath, you say you are the healer. In the same breath, you say that you are faithful. In the same breath, you say that people who are your children, you will preserve them. But in the same breath also, you are now saying that I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy. So if you already knew that you are choosing who to be merciful to, why am I now praying and fasting? Those are the conversations I have with God. You are bipolar, they like it. What exactly is going on? If you hear me when I'm praying, you will laugh. In fact, you won't even know it's God I'm praying to, because I tell him, please don't be angry, please. Why do you say that Christians should not have sex before marriage? In the same breath, you now say that you are a God of second chance. So if I don't sin, how will you restore me? That's how he talks to me. Then you now give me reasons. It is not about restoration. It is about what will happen to you in the process, and that God and I have logical conversations. We think and we talk.
That's good.
So when you say to me that don't question God, it is not God telling you that. It is the insecurity in you that when I question you, you may not have the answer. So you now think that God is like that. Because in our culture, you don't question other people. So I said, leave me and God alone. Because when I gave my life, you were not there. If I want to take it, you won't be there. Let me focus on my relationship with my Father. I can't receive a template and a manual from you when I have direct access.
God.
The relationship you have with him is different from my own. I'm the last born. I'm not doing first born. I'm just the last born. That's my permanent position. Me and daddy want to talk. Daddy, kilo ampungongon, kilo shele, sheti magbo. And we talk. So raising children is, let's be independent. Don't let us just focus on transference. Let's transfer what is working. And when something is not working, we know. If you are very self-aware, you know your weakness. At that point, when our children are challenging us, it's a corrective measure. Now I have edited "Are you sure?" from my vocabulary. Almost 7 lo coming by, it will now be 10. Before I used to say it was English language until a child had to tell me, am I lying? Why do you say I'm lying? If I wasn't humble enough, I would not have taken that correction.
True.
And then parents should please go for parenting classes. Parenting is not a gift of nature, it is nurture. You have not parented before. This is your first time. Collect as much knowledge as you can. Parenting is like your career. All of us are going up and down, level 1, level 2, level 3. We are trying to succeed. Especially men listening to me. Men, I have an agenda towards your existence. Family meeting and Sheba, Esther is presiding over it. I have an agenda towards your existence. Culture, personally, I know men are good because I've met a number of them. Good, kind souls. But culture has made it look like the more you are disconnected from your emotions, the more masculine you are. You must live in emotional denial to be macho. Ironically, all the people who laid this cultural template are dead. You are still alive. So they are controlling you from the grave. So this life you are living is no longer your life. You are living for your ancestors. We tell men don't cry. Why? Even Jesus wept. Men will lose their parents, they won't be able to cry. They will lose businesses, they will do this, they won't be able to cry. They will now be sleeping up and about, they will be angry, they will be doing this because they are looking for coping mechanism when the only thing that happened to you, cry. Yes. And then they want them to so much disconnect. In fact, when they say that a man can feel his feelings, wants to follow Kohonia, he must be gay, he must be very feminine, he's very sissy-like. If you are listening to me today, there is a new case study and research material that is out. You can Google it, you will find it there. There's something that you can't find there, which is that a lot of men are spending their lives, which is above 60 years old, alone and lonely because they couldn't relate with their children and their wives, so they lost them. So the children are still alive, but they don't have any relationship. And they are now interested in nurturing relationships, but the children have moved on. A child you were not with for 35 years, all of a sudden you want the child to call you father.
Possible.
That's emotional fraud. You want to reap where you didn't sow. And children of nowadays will not allow you reap where you don't sow. In fact, they will change their son name. If you have noticed. And I want to one dancing. It's not to those your grandparents. So these ones who are out now, They are not waiting for God to fight for them. They are fighting on their own.
I agree. I
They
agree.
will change everything. In fact, if you are not careful, they will change the agenda. You will not recognize them again. A good number of men above age 60 are alone and lonely. They have not done research for women. So if they do it, I will come and update you also. But before you go and join the train, let the people you love know that you love them. Meaning there are people you must be vulnerable with. But culture has made you, and then there's even another spirit, a spirit where I don't understand it yet, where I hear that a man's greatest food, a man's food is respect. And I'm like, I don't even mind you feeding on respect. It's okay. But when you want to feed on something, can you at least start by feeding yourself also? Because when you say that a man's food is respect, and somewhere along the line, this man that his food is respect is sleeping up and down. Where is the place of self-respect? Or who is supposed to be feeding you your food? If your food is respect, act in a respectable way. Submission is not given, submission is earned. Let me tell you something. Submission is very unconscious. And I say it categorically. An average woman submits when a leader shows up. When a woman is struggling to submit, it is about a questionable character. It's not saying leadership. An average woman. Because you don't have the character to be the head of the home. You are not even doing anything in that direction. But you want everybody, head of the home, who feeds on respect, must respect other people.
Absolutely.
But you want to disrespect your wife, you want to disrespect your children, but you want them to worship you just because you have a protruding organ.
Sad.
If this thing was very easy, you should have gotten it. So it is the time where we have to be telling ourselves the truth. Come, I'm not here, I'm not an influencer. You know, and I'm not going to like me or I'm not going to like do you understand? I'm not your role model. If you call me your role model, I have no idea. Do you understand? I don't know who you are. Me and Esther, we have nothing to lose. We are saying the truth because of what we do for a living. It's emotional fraud for you to place a demand where you didn't deposit.
You know.
So when you are saying that our leaders are thieves, you also have the character of a thief. Everything you are asking your wife to do, are you doing it? Everything you're asking your children to do, are you doing it? Or you are not questionable? You know, this don't question God. It's a cultural problem.
Yeah.
Because an average man is not questionable. They are not accountable. When a man tells you he wants peace, if you're not careful, it starts with the fact that even when I'm cheating, don't stress me. All a man wants is peace. All a man wants is peace. Do you give peace? Or you don't give peace, but they should serve you peace, appetizer, lunch, dinner, and dessert.
Sad.
So we are in that generation where we will raise ourselves. Let me tell your neighbor, hold your neighbor's hand. I will raise myself. Yeah.
That's powerful.
We will raise ourselves.
Raise ourselves,
After
absolutely.
this, you can go and hit me. No.
Thank you so much. So you talked about your childhood trauma, at the beginning of the conversation. How did you heal? What was
so how
the
did
healing
I
process
heal?
like?
I started by getting knowledge. So I remember the first day I traveled to the UK. The first time was for my sister's graduation. The second time was when I went to coaching academy in the UK. And I remember that I had to sell some of my things, like my fridge, some things, even some of my clothes and stuff that I just felt I need money because remember my mother had 4 children and then a husband she still had to take care of. So we didn't have that disposable income as much at that time. So after I left coaching academy, I went to series of schools. I was always reading. You will find me on YouTube. And I was always trying to do internal audit, and I still do it till today. And I was always saying to myself, I can't afford to transfer these emotional files to my children. I can't afford to transfer these emotional files. I will try as much as possible to reduce my pain. And I spent a lot of money on myself. I always say to people, if you can't spend money on yourself, it's a lack of self-respect. You pay for entertainment, you pay for fragrances, you buy perfume, you do all of those other things, you buy food. An average Nigerian, you will see people are talking on social media, they went to buy lobster, 38,000, buy kinekon. Tell them to pay for therapy. Wamagbo tongues. Thank God they do. They even pay me. Me, I don't even do pro bono. It's not this. I don't have that kind of spirit in my life. I want a lot more. It's their family who should be doing pro bono with them. Me, with the bills I'm paying. Esther, maybe not go back to village. You know that in the US, your bill is constant.
Yep.
Thankfully. So there's no way you will do pro bono. So I went up and about. I was learning, doing stuff. I denied myself a lot. For example, I didn't have TV in my house for a long time. A long time. I actually bought a TV in my house, a smart TV. So I had one TV that it was not smart. I didn't even have DSTV. And I still don't have till date. That's in Nigeria, for example. I bought a smart TV in my house this year before I left, and all. But I spent a lot of money. I denied myself. So the phone I'm using to have a conversation with you is Note 8. An average person will feel, you can conveniently buy anything you want. Yes, but I am denying myself of some things. Before I left the country, I was using Toyota Muzzle 2007. There was no friend of mine who didn't used to yab me. In fact, my laptop crashed on the 13th of May, my 7-year-old laptop, Mac Air. Nothing happened to it. Both of us went to sleep a night before as a couple. I just put it on the next day, it didn't come on. I took it to go and fix. Nothing. That was the end. Thankfully, I had put everything on cloud. So that's how 7 years old. There was nothing my friends didn't tell me. You can buy the latest one where you can use your hand to take in a. There is a time to live in denial, financial denial. There's a time to live like you are broke so that you can fix your life. There's a time to live like you are broke. And almost all my friends are older than me. And I always remind myself that as long as they are older, they have a right to be richer. In fact, I like the fact that they are richer so that they can be giving me small money. As the last one that I am everywhere I go. I can't shout. Soft Life Incorporated. Almost, in fact, there was one friend of mine who was saying to me that we should do something together. I just realized, you are 44 now. I'll be 38. I said, go and do it. He said, must you always bring age? I said, yes. Yes, preserve my money. Don't spend my money like you're spending your. Please. There's a 6-year gap in this financial industry. When you are spending money as a 44-year-old. When I'm spending money as a 37-and-a-half-year-old. There must be a gap. In Yoruba language, I should be calling you auntie. Do you understand? And because of that auntie, you should be dropping something. The reason for auntie is because you must drop. Once they call you auntie like 5 times, you are not dropping. They will just say sister. After sister, they will just use your hand. Get talking with Esther. Because we also did it when we were young. There were some uncles and aunties we didn't like. Because they didn't used to give us anything.
Yes, so
we have now replaced them.
Yes, so
Sometimes when my nieces and nephews are really greeting me, emotions doctor, I'm like, stop greeting me. What do you want? Because when they start to hype you like this, you already know that virtue will leave you. Those children, So I had to work on myself, and I'm still doing the work. I'm still doing the work. I got a book recently. I like the book. I don't know the lady, but she's very active on Instagram. I like what she does. Dr. Thelma. The book is on homecoming, how you
Yeah.
can return to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the book has been good. Like, I like it. I've never met her. I had to tweet about it. She saw it and she appreciated my tweet.
Mm-hmm.
But I read a lot. And sometimes I don't have the time to read, but I don't excuse that. So what I do is when I can't sit down to read, I listen to it.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, because your growth is your responsibility.
Mm.
Nobody owes you anything. Let me tell you something. Even at the point of death, nobody owes you.
So,
People in my field know. You can't come and say, I want to commit suicide, and you think that if we respond to you, it is because of mercy. We don't owe
mhm,
anybody.
that's true.
Let me tell you the plain truth. You can't be using death to scare some people.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same way when you go to the hospital and you say someone is also, even when they put you in emergency,
Mm.
somebody must swipe,
Mm.
because that hospital you brought people to is funded by money.
Mm.
If people were not paying, there will not be anything called emergency units.
Yep.
And everybody who will attend to you are on the payroll. They don't pay them with God bless you. So
Mm-hmm.
remove sentiment and emotions from the table.
Mm.
If you want to grow, you will spend money.
Mm. I,
Esther knows how much she has spent and she's still
I
spending.
I know, right? I think people don't this conversation about therapy and counseling. And that is why when I post now, I tell people it is not free. In fact, when I hosted praise like 2 weeks ago, and I said,
Mm-hmm.
listen, he's going to charge you. These
Mm-hmm.
things people will be saying pro bono, pro bono. People have bills to pay. Yes, we understand we are going to empathize, but empathy does not pay bills. Empathy is the human feeling we got to show you.
There's a
You know.
question I ask them every time. When you say that a total stranger should help you,
Mm-hmm.
why should I be committed to you if you're not committed to yourself?
I know, right? I know, right? I mean,
So you that you have met yourself and you have
mhm,
lived with yourself for 40
mhm,
years,
mhm,
you can't pay for yourself. Me that I've never met you and I will most likely not meet you in life
mhm.
is the one who should now give you pro bono.
I
I'm
know.
like, you're not a serious adult. I think that you people know people that you blackmail. Me, I don't even feel
I,
you.
I also think that, and I think I had this conversation with you like 3 years ago, that
Mm.
government needs to step in and
Yeah.
step up, with regards
Mm-hmm.
to the mental health sector. I
Mm-hmm.
understand the general conversation that we're having, but there are
Mm.
people who need to have access to resources, but they
Mm-hmm.
cannot afford it. And
Mm-hmm.
now that we're live, so I'm saying this, if there's anyone in governance that, you're listening, you also
Mm.
step up. This
Mm-hmm.
mental health sector thing, it's been
Mm-hmm.
like a conversation we've been having for years.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing has been done, right? And living in Lagos alone, you have mental crisis.
Mm-hmm.
Traffic alone would give you that. So I'm just
Mm-hmm.
using this opportunity to implore them. There are
And then
people who cannot
even
afford
church
therapy.
leaders, I have
Mm-hmm,
I have repeatedly written about it where I said
mm-hmm,
there should be a mental health department,
mm-hmm,
the same
mm-hmm.
way you have ushering and choir.
Yes.
And if you go to church, you should
Mm-hmm,
ask. If
mm-hmm,
you pay offering and tithe,
mm-hmm.
there must be a mental health department. If you don't pay
Yes.
offering and tithe, leave your pastor alone.
Yes.
Eh.
Because
And
if
then
the
your
person that
mental
pays
health
tax itself is not
department
a
should be held by a
mm-hmm,
professional.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Separate the issues. It's not a
mm-hmm,
pastoral title.
mm-hmm.
Doctors are not pastors are not surgeons.
Yes.
I
They're not
also,
therapists
and I
too.
have a curriculum for all those things. I have a curriculum
Mm-hmm,
for churches because I am spiritual. I have a
mm-hmm,
curriculum for schools, how schools can create mental health hubs. But
mm-hmm.
the irony of it is that even mosque,
Yes.
the irony of it is that you would submit the curriculum, they
Mm-hmm.
will now tell you that, oh, can you do it free?
Mm.
And I'm like, do people attend your own school free?
I know, right?
You collect school fees. But
Yeah.
you think that at my age, I said,
Mm.
the next time you email me, if I insert the statement, you will attract causes to yourself. They will say that, no, you do not. I said, are you serious? Because until we try to decentralize
Yes.
from your worship center,
Mm.
there must be a department that caters for your mental health that is held by professionals.
Yes.
To your children's schools.
Yes.
Parents listening to me, let me tell you something. You are in a world where people have guns and knives, depending on the country you show up.
Mm.
A surgeon died in the US yesterday. He was one of his angry patients that shot him. Go and Google it.
Yep. Yep. Very sad.
Your children will be abroad.
Mm.
You must ask the school, what is their mental health capacity and plan?
Yes.
You can't be paying pounds and dollars and you can't speak up because they are abroad. You can't ask questions. Well, if anybody eliminates your child, they will put it under mental health. You hope you know.
That's true. The person will
Well,
go and
they will just kill your child and they will put it under mental health. And then there are some people that when they kill, no matter what, they won't go to jail. You know what I'm saying, parents?
Yes.
Good. There are some people that no matter what they do, they will not go to jail. It's some people who will permanently be in jail. Depends on your color. Good. So if your worship center and school and everywhere, even your office, it is called employee awareness program. You must be able to tell your office that they should please create a mental health unit. You must have an in-house professional. There are organizations we work with on retainer. When their staff have issues, they call the office and a professional attends to them. They pay us monthly. You must create that, you must create those portfolios because the world will be more complex. You are in the area of social media now. You have not entered metaverse. There was a case that happened in the UK a while ago in the metaverse. If you don't know the metaverse, this is what it means. So like your social media, metaverse means that all of us will now have avatars. Avatar is like a comic, like a cartoon of yourself. So imagine Esther and I now, we have cartoons. We now go into Facebook. So it's our cartoon that will be working. You know, so like my face is our cartoon that will be walking up and about. So in this metaverse, there was a lady who got on the into the metaverse and another guy was there. And they were friends for some days. So imagine Facebook as friends. But this time around, instead of typing on phone, it is two characters, like two cartoon characters, Tom and Jerry, that are talking, for example. So both of them were talking and all that. And while they were talking, the guy just grabbed the girl and attempted to rape her. So meaning in the metaverse, his cartoon character attempted to rape her cartoon character. Are you aware that when she finally logged out, just like logging out of social media, when she finally logged out, she had the residue of the trauma? Are you aware she had to see a therapist? It happened in the UK live. So something happened in the metaverse that was not real. Do you understand? Two cartoon characters. But that picture of being suppressed and almost raped was permanent in her head. You know the reason why? Your mind cannot separate what is real and not real. That's why nightmares feel like real things. You have a nightmare and you wake up. And you still have those things. Yes. Your mind cannot separate what is real and unreal. She saw a therapist in real life, even though it was a cartoon character that was sexually abused. That is the world we are progressing into. So imagine your cartoon character being killed or being shot or being slaughtered. That is that world we are going. So if you think that the world is complex now, give us 3-5 years. You know now people have over. Have you found out the last time the gender? The last time I checked gender, how many genders we had, it was 72. Then the last time I checked how many religions we had, it was 4,000. You can Google it. I'm not hiding anything. Google 72. Because now even in your gender, there's a space. Prefer not to say. You have changed gender to the point where you don't even know who you are again. Prefer not to say. They have created this for you. That's the word. You know, before it used to be male and female. When you are dating people now, you have to ask them a question. Is this your original? Is this your gender at birth? Question Emma.
And pronouns too.
Question, you know
those
what?
pronouns.
I'm telling you, because now you have to
Is
be
he
asking
a
people
they?
like,
Are you
are you
gay?
attracted? You
Are
know,
you
abroad
gay?
now, there's something called ethical non-monogamy,
Mm-hmm.
polyamorous,
Mm-hmm.
pansexual, non-binary, binary. Even the people who are naming them are now confused. Good. That is the world we are in.
And we
And you
have to
must have
confirm.
tools. It's a serious word.
Yeah, it is.
It's a very
It
serious
is.
word.
Thank you so much. And you have a program coming up for this same topic, but of course, something more advanced. Just, very quickly, can you just tell us about it? Because I assume there are a lot of people here who obviously want this session to go on and on, but I just want you to talk about your program and how they can join.
Excellent. So if you check my wall, the program is called Emotional Healing. It would happen just once a year because of my schedule, and it is to help as many people as possible who have the residue of their childhood pain to fix up. And the reason why it is happening is because an average person who wants to see me will pay over $1,000 per session. But this time around, we're going to have 6 hours together. It starts next week, Friday, ends on Sunday, 2 hours daily. And it's just valued at $175. And it's a virtual workshop for everybody that joins. So it's a group workshop. So you can head out to my wall to check out the content on emotional healing. It is virtual, so you can tap into it from anywhere in the world. It happens just once a year. So once you miss it, it depends on when it is happening next year. But every time I say to people, every time you delay your healing, you lose money and you lose relationships and you lose yourself.
Yeah, I totally agree. And what can we do? You said a lot today about what we can do as people, but as a society, right? What can we do to help children not experience trauma? What role do we play intentionally? Yeah.
An example of the role to play is, please, when you are going out and you are looking for who to take care of your child, keep your child with somebody you trust. Your neighbor is not a custodian. Your neighbor can be an abuser. Your niece or nephew or uncle are not custodians. They can be abusers. So that I'll quickly go to Kayode's mommy's house. I'll be back in 1 hour. It means nothing. Your children are humans to be preserved.
Yep.
Not products to be dropped.
Humans to be preserved, not products to be dropped. Please, somebody tweet that. Somebody tweet that.
Thank you. Please do not drop your children with humans you don't trust. And if your child wants to give you feedback on their experience in somebody's home, listen to them. Don't come up with their lying, their kinikon. Beyond the fact that children feel betrayed, that parents do not believe them, you are also making them second guess that they are not good enough and they should not speak up when they are hurt. So adults, and if they bring a child near you as a lady or a man, because I know female also abuse.
Yes.
My former gender, because if I want to say my gender now, you will say, sometimes I even just say prefer not to say, because sometimes this gender stresses me. Women, us, our hands are not also clean. Sometimes we don't act well. And then men, when children are with you, no matter the erection you have or you are wet, leave children out of your drama. In fact, go and masturbate.
QED.
Leave children alone, no. Because if they report you to me, I will be part of people that will come for you.
Yes, QED, leave children alone.
Leave children, adults, listen to me today. Leave children alone. No. The guy looking at me now, and you are saying it's Friday evening, you are about to go out with one young girl. Leave that girl alone. Because the day you will succeed and they come for you with Me Too hashtag, you are now saying, why are they now talking now? When we were warning you, you did not answer.
You did not answer. It's sad.
Women who also sleep with young boys, you know that there is something called vibrator. Leave children alone.
You
I
know,
am the voice of the Lord saying to you that don't erase children, raise them.
tell them, oh, women who also have been my friend. I think I shared this story with you some years ago. I don't know if it was you or someone else. A sister that worked on a housemaid, having carnal knowledge of a female child. This girl was giving this 12-year-old, daughter of hers a head.
Head.
Like she wanted to. Like by the time they interrogated and everything, but it was so unsuspecting because obìnrin ni wọ́n fojú sí lára, right? By the time
And
they
they would have gone to
interrogated the
hire her,
child,
feeling like the gender is safe.
the
If you
girl
have a
was so into
sexual
it.
addiction challenge, it is fine. Please seek help. Don't transfer that application to another child.
Don't traumatize children.
You are not the only one who has an erection or who gets wet, and we are all adults. Pay for therapy.
Yep.
Pay for therapy. Pay for therapy. Adults are the problems of this world, though, including myself.
Yes, so
If they remove us, children are fine. And we must take responsibility.
absolutely.
Let children feel safe with us. And if the spirit of shouting is still upon you, anytime you want to talk, you'll be shouting like you are running scale. You are pitching and singing. You have not joined choir, but you can move from A to Z. You will be screaming, shouting. There's something called heart attack and busting of artery. Seek therapy before you bust one artery because you shouted.
Yes, so very, very important.
Shout. Finally, if you fight for a living, in fighting you live, you move and have your being. Any little thing, what is sodija, what is daboro?
The right people like
is your altar call. Come for healing. All of us have been there before. My story is retired nuisance to the emotions door. Come for healing. Healing is available for you.
Yes.
Namaste.
It's very important. I think there are a couple of people who want to ask. Let me just ask. We'll just take 2 questions because we are. So I just accepted someone. I believe she has a question to ask. But if you guys have more questions for her, go into her DM. Don't go and ask for pro bono.
No, I don't even answer question for free. Esther is kinder than me. I'm still growing in kindness. Esther is a kind woman. I am growing in kindness. If you come and ask me any question, your question will rest in peace, dear. I won't even greet you, not going to respond. Do you understand? The only question you can ask me is how to join emotional healing class, how to pay. I don't answer anything pro bono. Jesus did not die for me for free. Do you understand? When people say salvation is free, no, Christ was crucified.
Someone asks, how do you heal being not able to have a baby? I hit myself sometimes to think something is wrong with me.
Please come and join the emotional healing class. That one is a what do you call it? It's a serious discussion. Because the first thing is that there's a cultural template that makes us feel like we're in control. It's the same way singles say that, how are you single and happy? I am single and happy because I don't have a control over my life. I could have been married and divorced. I could have been married and dead. I could have been married and childless. Do you understand? Anything could have happened.
Yes.
So why am I thinking that I should be married at this age? Who says to me that if I marry later than now, something is wrong? What if you get pregnant, you die while giving birth? What if you get pregnant, your child dies after you give birth? There are several other things. But culture makes it look like once you get married, you must have a child. Once you don't have a child, there's a problem.
Yeah, sadly.
Nobody has a script and a template. Nobody is in control.
Nobody.
Because if you're not even careful, you will not have sex from a place of enjoyment. You will have sex from a place of procreation. And your desire is legitimate. You have the right to desire a child. What you can't, however, do is to create the child. The only thing you can do is to have sex. When it will turn into a child is out of your control.
Yes.
So why will I now be flustered over what I have no control over? But that comes with emotional stability. The ability to know what you know.
Yes.
Sometimes people somebody passed on recently, and then people said, oh, she committed suicide, she was 40-something, she was unmarried, she didn't kinikon. They like that kind of cultural template where single women must be depressed.
Sad.
The cultural template where women must feel incomplete without marriage. The template that women have no right to joy without a man. So they hate humans like me. In fact, they now give us a name, feminist, even though I've never Googled this before. I don't even know what it means. So people like me who are saying, remove the bondage from your neck. Enjoy your life. While you are enjoying your life, the one who created you will attend to you.
Yes.
They don't like it. They prefer she was single, successful, lonely, alone, and died. They like it, so they will spread it. You know why they are spreading it? To introduce fear into your life. You will now run. You will now run and go and manage one. When you now manage one finish, it will now be hurting you. Culture will now still say that divorce is a sin. You should die there.
By fire, by force.
Everything is tied to pain, and women are the victims and the, what do you call it? Women are the victims and the collateral damage. But because I have left your gender alone, the woman I'm doing now is Soft Life Incorporated.
Which gender are you doing now? Which gender are you doing? SL, Abi,
In fact, is the one God said I should choose daily that I'm choosing. Because this is your gender. They will say black women are very strong. I said, who told you that one? I'm not very strong. I'm very soft. Later on, they will come again. Proverbs 31 woman say, I'm not a Proverbs 31 woman. I am human. In my life, everything must be tied to struggle and pain. So if you are listening to me today and you want the fruit of the womb, I am aware that the person who created you has a master plan.
Yes.
I am aware.
Yes.
Do not let culture kill you because it is out of your control.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Please. Absolutely. Thank you so much. It's been sorry we can't take more questions, guys. Like Oyin also Oyin has it's actually going to be, this is going to be on my page as well, so you can watch. But beyond that, she's talking about a program. Go on her page, pay for it, paying for therapy. Yeah. Owó tẹ́ fi ń ra pizza, tẹ́ fi ń jẹ kíní, ẹ fi tún ra yín ṣe, ẹ fi, pay for therapy and let people who are professionals help you. Let them help you have that self-awareness that you need help. A lot of us are walking around with broken parts. It is not healthy. Like she said, if you keep it to yourself, you bottle it up, one day you will just burst like Portable. You just burst. So thank you so much. Is there anything you want to just say to folks out there, especially if there's someone who is listening right now who has had to, deal with any form of childhood trauma? What do you have to say before we wrap it up?
I appreciate the platform. Thank you so much, Esther, for the revolution, the change, the impact, that all of us are doing. Ironically, sometimes we lead while we bleed. Yes. We have our issues, but we're still at the forefront. Everybody thinks that we're good, but somewhere along the line, we have our own issues. Anybody listening to me, we've all been at a place or the other. Some of us are still there. And you couldn't do anything about your trauma.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing I need you to know is that you need to forgive yourself.
Mm.
Sometimes we're blaming ourselves. Maybe if you were sexually abused, you would have said, if only I didn't go there, I should have known, I should have been wiser. You know, you have forgiven everybody, but you haven't forgiven yourself. And today I need you to cry and repeat the words, I forgive myself repeatedly. Repeat it as often as you can, even if it's over 50 times. Go into your bathroom, turn your shower on, turn your tap on, and cry if you have to. Because accepting that pain is the beginning of confrontation.
Yes.
Accept the fact that you were hurt. Accept the fact that you are feeling your feeling, just the same way I analyzed how I felt about my dad. I wrote an article on my website, how I forgave my dad. I remember somebody reached out, a marriage therapist reached out one time and said, why would you say that you had an issue with your dad when you knew that he was ill? And my response to him was he should share his story. Apparently, he had a good relationship with his father, so he couldn't relate. So I said the fact that you can't relate with somebody's pain does not give you the permission to deny the person healing.
Yes.
So I said next time, be very slow to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And then for humans like me, don't bring that kind of idea close.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many things I'm not great at, but the ones that I'm great at, I'm incredibly good at them.
Mm-hmm.
So whoever you are today, you should be grateful that Esther brought this together. Anybody who follows me knows that I don't like Instagram live. When I say yes, oh, me, that's Yoruba version, meaning I can't say no to you. You are heavy in my hand. Yeah, that's the meaning. So I said, you are heavy in my hand. That's what it means. And then it will be on Esther's page. It is costing her something. It is costing me something.
Yes.
This time is cost.
Yes, so.
This network is cost. Do you understand? And we like you. You are important to us. That's why both of us came together. So the little thing you can do is to stop procrastinating your healing. Don't move it till tomorrow. Don't move it till next week. Fix it tonight. Declare an emergency. Declare 911 on your healing. Say to yourself, I will no longer shout and scream at my children. There's something wrong. I will no longer suspect my husband because of insecurity. There's something wrong. I will no longer be jealous of my friend's success. There's something wrong. I will no longer feel like I'm not good enough or worthy of love. There's something wrong. And guess what? All those things that are wrong does not mean that you are evil. It just means that there's an emotional alignment that must cause a reconnection.
Yes.
So I am rooting for you. I say that if my life can be what it is today, yours can be better.
Absolutely.
Categorically, yours can be better.
Absolutely.
And you have a right to your healing. You have a right to your healing. Don't be an ancestor that people will be cursing. You know, when they say this will rest in peace, some of us will not rest in peace. So, you know, because you're because the people coming after you will kill you with curses. Don't be part of them.
I know.
Do you understand? Don't let your spirit be roaming. Have some dignity, even in death. Do you understand? I've told everybody, when I die, I will not watch over anybody. You know those people who say, my mom is watching over me. When I die, I die. I'm not doing any extra time. I'm not watching anybody. Have some dignity in life and in death. Do you understand? But I'm rooting for you, and I specifically appreciate and love you. Thank you so much, Esther, for inviting and sharing your word with me.
Thank you, everyone. I wish you a beautiful evening wherever you're joining from. You know, I know there are a couple of people from other parts of the world. Afternoon, evening, morning, Bugwe. Thank you so very much. Go on Oyin's page, right, to see some of the programs she has. We cannot take it all in 1 hour and 30 minutes. Believe me, healing is more than this. This is just the tip of the iceberg to let you know we are bringing this to your consciousness. You need healing. Don't postpone till next year. All right? Thank you, everyone. Have a beautiful evening. Oyin, thank you so much for making time. I really appreciate it.
My duty.
We go for WhatsApp.
Of course.
All right, everyone. Have an amazing evening. Bye.
Bye.